All right, do you want to go from absolutely no audience, no one knowing you existing, to actually reaching people and creating impressions? Well, you can actually do that on Pinterest. So stay tuned, and I'm going to share my Pinterest journey with you and share how you can get from 0 to 20,000 impressions in just a few months. Hey everybody, this is Ashley with Publish with Ashley, here to give you insights into KDP and Etsy and making money online. So Pinterest, I actually have two business Pinterest accounts, one for my KDP and one for Etsy that I have just started. So I started a new Etsy store, so I decided to create a new Pinterest business account. Now, the cool thing about business accounts is that you can have this insight. So I wanted to show you this table, basically these stats that I'm looking at right now. So you have to have a Pinterest account that's a business one, and you can actually switch between your profiles very easily. So it's not something, they're all free. It's pretty easy. Okay, so what I want to show you is, see here, I started the store, I'm not sure, somewhere in February, but I started actually doing pins in February. You can see it was 0, 0, 0, and look, oh, I got some impressions and more impressions, and this was actually something trending. I don't remember if it was Mother's Day, or it looks like by the date it might have been St. Patrick's Day. I think I had some St. Patrick's Day things, but I don't know, that's looking more like some Mother's Day or Easter. Actually, you know what? This was Easter. Okay, so I had some Easter things that actually kind of apparently people were searching for. Easter is a niche. And so I'm going along, and you can see it's kind of like la, 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 la. But as you can see, I get over here somewhere, about the 2-month point. It starts to rise. Like my daily bottom is not as low as it was before. And that's because Pinterest does require you to be consistent, and it does take about 2 to 3 months for your stuff to get the algorithm going. It just takes time for the Pinterest to understand you, understand your pins, understand your keywords, and start showing it to the appropriate audiences. So you can see that I want to be honest with you guys. I don't want you guys to be like, oh, I've pinned for a whole month and nothing has happened. Well, yeah. This is a trend, kind of an anomaly that people were searching for this thing, and I had done some really good keyword-rich pins. But you can see, it's kind of a little anomaly, but it kind of goes like this. But now, at that point, it's starting to rise. And you can see here, I've got 574. This was the day before, and this is 476. And this is only halfway through the day, so I'm going to probably surpass this 500. So the algorithm is starting to understand me. I'm going from 0 to having this many impressions of my products this day. So what I want to share with you is that Pinterest can really get your stuff out there. It can be seen by people daily. And I know from actually my Etsy account, because Etsy will show you your people who have viewed your products or bought your products have been coming from these sites. One of them happens to be Pinterest. And in the beginning, I was getting onesie, twosies, right? But now that the algorithm has kind of picked me up, I'm getting more views. I am seeing in Etsy more of those people coming to my site, pinning and saving and stuff. Now, what you really want to note is engagements. These are things that they've actually interacted with your pin, which I know this number isn't huge. I'm having a decent amount of impressions, and this isn't huge. But you've got to remember, in the beginning, I was having just a few impressions, and nobody was pinning or clicking on anything. But as time's gone on, this right here, this number has gone up, and I expect it to continue. And that's kind of the thing with Pinterest. You've got to continually be consistent and pin or 1 or 2 or 3 things a day. So what I kind of do is I make 10 different versions of each of my products. So pins that I can, pictures, I make them on Canva. I just have about 10 templates, and then I take and all my different products, I just, put in the products in those templates, and then I have 10 pins, basically pin pictures for each product I have, and then I just schedule those throughout a week or 2. So I'll sit down one day and upload those 10 pins, do keyword rich titles, keyword rich descriptions, make sure that the actual images themselves have a keyword or 2 in them. And then I will upload them and schedule them to go throughout the next week or 2. You could even schedule it farther out than that, but Pinterest allows you to schedule your pins. So you can just sit down one day, you create a product, sit down one day, and then you can get your consistency by actually just pinning say one day and then just scheduling it, maybe every other day or something, depending on how many things you have. But that way you're consistently adding to Pinterest, consistently letting Pinterest know that you are going to put new and unique content onto their site, which they love unique and new content, and they will reward you. As you can see, I'm getting more and more and more interest. So I want you to know that you can go from nothing, nobody knowing that your business is alive, to actually having people Pinterest show to your potential audience, and also people engaging with your pins. Now, something I also want to show you that you can do from Pinterest, and why I think Pinterest is pretty cool, is you can go over here to Analytics and you can click on Audience Insights. And if you go over to Audience Insights, you can see who has been looking. So in the last 30 days, I've had just less than 10K people look, and I had zero. Remember? 0 people in February. Nothing. Nobody. Okay. And now I have a lot of people looking, and you can see what categories people are looking at. I'm not exactly sure why electronics is on there, maybe because some of my products are digital, but these are popular categories for these people. And it sometimes makes sense because I'm doing kind of an artsy craftsy type niche. So weddings, animals, parenting, gardening, those are kind of artsy craftsy, if that makes sense. Something else you can see is kind of what your audience is interested in. And it's interesting. They're interested in financial planning, budgeting. Budgeting makes sense because I'm doing an artsy craftsy type thing. So people are budget conscious, DIY, that sort of thing. I'm not sure why real estate's buying here, but it doesn't have a huge affinity. So you can see it's like financial planning, though I don't know if that doesn't make sense. So some of these may or may not make sense to you. Budgeting makes more sense to me than financial planning, but maybe that's kind of in the same category as far as people being more interested in DIY if they want to plan for their future and save and something like that. Now, here's something you can definitely look at. 25 to 34. You know how I'm always talking about who is your target audience? Well, if you start pinning things, it helps you narrow in who is your target audience. This totally makes sense to me. The females, the stuff I'm making is definitely aimed at a female buyer. Now, I actually thought that my audience would probably be 35 to 45, but apparently not. Apparently, it is the younger generation who are interested in what I have in this particular Etsy shop. So there's something I kind of learned. So maybe that means I should make products that are focused on maybe that age group a little bit more. Just kind of tweak my products that captures that audience, right? How do I do that? Maybe that's by the graphics. Maybe that's by my wording. I can definitely play around with that knowing this. Here it also shows you like what they're using, the web, mobile, tablets, iPad, iPhone. iPhone's pretty high. Web is pretty high. So they're in New York and Los Angeles, big cities, right? That kind of makes sense because you're going to have the most people in big cities. So, and then you can look at countries and all that sort of stuff. But this gives you some real insight into who your audience is. You can also click on like all Pinterest users, compare. You can change, you can export this. This can really be useful. Just kind of seeing who is interested in your product, and can you create something for your audience who's already really interested. So maybe I need to start, look, it has, wedding. So maybe I need to make some more wedding type focused products. That's probably a really good idea. This parenting, I think I'm kind of already focusing on some of that. But wedding, I hadn't really thought about. So that may be something I can focus on in the future for creating products and then pinning those on Pinterest. Okay, I hope this was super helpful for you, and seeing how, if you were just consistently pinning every day, you can go from nothing to something. I have quite a few more videos about Pinterest, and I'm going to be making more, but make sure to check out my YouTube channel, and I have a category under Pinterest. You can see all the different playlists I have for Pinterest type items. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.